All right, students, we're going to talk to you a little bit about school bonds, which is a vehicle for gaining money to build schools. Um, Whenever a school board decides to put a school bond in front of the voters, it passes in Texas by one vote over 50%. In other words, a simple majority. Then we have the authority to issue school bonds. And school bonds are a promise to pay investors back when they give us the funds that we're selling the school bonds for. Right now in Texas, the school bond interest rates, what it costs us to borrow that money is around 3%, and it's going down. Uh, so if anyone had to build something in the near future, behooves the school district to get those bonds passed and sold while the interest rate is so low. 3% money is pretty cheap. Um, when we sell the bonds, we have to first get them rated by rating service out of New York. And there are three investor services that rate school bonds. It's the Moody's Investor Service, Standard and Poor's Investor Service, and Fitch Investor Service. I'll say it one more time so that you won't have to back this up. Three rating agencies are Moody's, Standard and Poor's, and Fitch, Fitch. Each one of those services provide investors with a estimation of the strength of the bonds that are being sold. Um, in Texas, because we have the permanent school fund guarantee, Texas public schools sell their school bonds with a AAA bond rating. Well, if we do that, why do we need investor service? Because the investors want the underlying rating. In other words, how good is this school district financially? Um, but that AAA bond rating that Texas public schools have access to, since the legislature allows the permanent school fund to underwrite the bonds, it really saves the taxpayers a lot of money by having a AAA rating on all of our school bonds. Um, the election order that is written by the board and voted on by the people is highly important. If you have language in there that allows you to buy land, then you may. If you don't, you can't. A lot of things can be placed in an election order that we would normally have to pay in our local maintenance tax, which, as you know by now, is capped at $1.04 or wherever a TRE has set it under $1.17. So a lot of schools are cash strapped because we have such a small margin on our M&O, maintenance and operation taxes. So if we can put some equipment in a school bond, it is paid back not out of the M&O tax, but out of the I&S tax, which is really unlimited. And it is not, um, you don't have to put money in the I&S side to flow to the poor schools. So Robin Hood doesn't affect I&S funds. The rating service gives out 4 or 5 different ratings. The best is AAA, and then AA, and then single A, and then Baa1. Don't ask me, that's just it. And then Baa, and then C. If you get below Baa, the rating is considered non-investment grade, and banks will not sell it. Therefore, you don't want to go any lower. For every shift downward in the rating, you go about 0.006 on your payment back. In other words, the interest rate that you're paying for the money that you borrowed. I was in there as 0.06% drop every time the bond changes from like AAA to AA and AA to 1A. Permanent school fund is available to all the schools in Texas, provided two things. One, that their finances are in order, and you must prove that to the state. Two, that you pay the $1,000 necessary to get your school bond guarantee from the permanent school fund. That's a drop in the bucket. There is one school district in Texas that has a AAA rating naturally, and that is Highland Park in the Dallas area. I stipulate Highland Park in the Dallas area because there's one out in West Texas too. Well, good luck with the bond business. A lot of people make their money selling bonds, and if you ever get rich, you may want to invest in bonds because they are considered municipal bonds, and the interest you earn on them is tax-free. So therefore, a lot of people that have money invest in school bonds so that the interest earnings they get can be taxed.